He's a writer, producer, and Humanitas Award winner whose work includes Scrubs, Sports Night, and Bad Monkey. Here's Matt Tarses.
So bright. Hi, my name is Matt Tarses. I'm here to present Bill Lawrence with the Herb Sargent Award for Comedy Excellence. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, where is Harrison Ford? And I am thinking it too. Bill has done approximately 7,000 television shows. Many of those shows had famous people in them. Some of those famous people, not many, but some, actually like Bill. So where are they? What is Ian Gomez doing tonight? Thank you, Bill. I have two theories about why Bill asked me to do this. One, our relationship is somewhat competitive, and nothing says I win more definitively than making me hand him what's basically a Lifetime Achievement Award. The other is that I don't think Bill knows anyone who's more uncomfortable speaking in front of big crowds than I am. So he must have thought the pain this would cause me would be very funny. He enjoys a good and elaborate joke on me and this time on you, and all I can say is that I'm sorry, and I will try to be brief. Here's what I can tell you about Bill's career based on a quick IMDb search. He came to Los Angeles right after college and got on a job on the show Billy. At that point, he thought all shows would be named after him. Next, he got staffed on the first season of a new show called Friends. And I want to linger on this one, for a minute. Not because it's noteworthy that at 23, he was working on one of the most successful comedies in television history, but because after just 13 episodes, Bill was fired. He tells me it had nothing to do with his performance, but more because at that time he had a somewhat abrasive personality, a quality he has since shed. After that, Bill met the great Gary Goldberg, who saw something in Bill, which was that he was pretty good at basketball. Together, Bill and Gary went on to create Spin City, and from there, Bill was off to the races. He created Scrubs, which was when we met. Yep. And then a few years later, as a joke in the Scrubs room, someone pitched the title of a show called Cougar Town, which Bill said, with his typical modesty, he could sell the next day. And so the next day, he went into Steve McPherson's office and sold Cougar Town. Then he did a show that was really just an excuse to have a party after tapings. This was called Undateable. And after that, there was a short, dry spell. Some had their fingers crossed it would be longer. But then Ted Lasso and Shrinking and Bad Monkey, and now here we are. When you first meet Bill, you think, I'm not going to like this guy. And then, as you get to know him, you think, yep, I was right. He looks and acts like all the guys who beat you up in high school. And then, what makes it even more annoying, you find out he's the funniest guy in the room when he tells you he's the funniest guy in the room. Bill has all the classic qualities of a comedy writer. He is the great-great-grandson of Sarah Lawrence. That's one. He is tall and conventionally handsome. Check, check. Now, in truth, I've known other writers who actually do have what I will call waspy attributes like these. Not the Sarah Lawrence thing, but the others. But the thing Bill has more of than any other writer I've ever known is confidence. And not the kind of confidence that masks a deep insecurity, just straight up confidence. Bill likes to say, everything goes my way, and he means it. He even has a hat with this written on it, and he wears this hat a lot. All this is to say it's hard not to root against a guy like Bill. And yet, somehow, you don't. I don't want to say his enthusiasm is infectious, but after a while, it does sort of wear you down, like an infection. As we all know, this business can be very punishing, so it's nice to have a guy on your side who just refuses to be beaten. And once he's at your side, he doesn't leave, also like an infection. He's incredibly loyal to the people he trusts. He's working with many of the same people he met over 20 years ago. And it doesn't hurt either that he's the most inclusive person you've ever worked with. Everyone on Bill's shows is in on everything. Staff writers are on notes, on set, in editing. It's partly because he's lazy. And it's partly because he hates to be alone. But there might also be some actual generosity of spirit there. We'll never know. I will reluctantly admit that I have learned some things from Bill over the years. Not all good, but yes, some stuff that I really value. I make fun of Bill's confidence. I try to poke holes in it all the time, but it's this unwavering belief in himself that I admire, envy, and try to aspire to sometimes. He told me a story recently about how when he was a high school basketball player, if he missed the first few three-pointers, was clearly not feeling it that day, his coach would bench him, not to punish Bill for missing the shots, but because he knew if he left Bill out there, he would not switch it up and move to the post, or God forbid, start passing. He knew Bill would never stop chucking threes. During that time I mentioned when Bill hadn't had a hit show in a while, and again, it hadn't been that long, but I do want to insist on calling it a dry spell. Bill asked me to meet him for coffee. And I had time to meet him for coffee because I wasn't doing all that much right then either. I probably even could have had lunch. He wanted to talk to me about working with him on this new show he was excited about, the first one he'd been excited about in a while. It was about a guy who was an underdog, fish out of water, who was hopeful and naive and optimistic about his new gig. And Bill made himself laugh as he was describing this because he realized he'd been doing basically the same show for 25 years. This time, instead of a first-year medical intern, it was a first-year soccer coach. Anyway, I wisely passed. And wished him good luck on his new project. My point is, Bill could have taken this dry spell as a sign he should course correct, do a different kind of show, maybe something with an alien, which is maybe what I was doing. But that is not what Bill does. He keeps shooting, and I'm here for it because when that shot goes in, it's pretty fun to watch. So here is some of his work. Please welcome to the stage, Bill Lawrence.
I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're
Wow. I did not expect Matt Tarses to give a speech about how much he learned from me. How's everybody holding up, by the way? It's late. Everybody okay? All right, I want to start by thanking my friend Matt. He's crazy talented. He's the most handsome comedy writer I know. Most handsome comedy writer is obviously a very low bar, but still pretty fucking annoying. I do want to start by giving a quick shout out to all the people I love over at my table right here. We all came out from Los Angeles because I assumed that if they give you one of these awards, they also nominate your show. I could go to the awards in LA and not be nominated. No, I'm joking around, but look, the best thing is that I get to be here with Matt and Ted and Kelly and Andy and Katie. They're at my table. And Krista, who you saw in the video, Krista's the best wife and the best coworker. I think she prefers if I call her my muse, so I shall. She truly is. I love you very much. My kids, Charlotte and Henry, are here. I love them. My son, Will, could not make it, but I love him too, just not as much. That was a good fucking joke, and I biffed the entrance to it. Did you guys hear that? Gah! All right, let's get this going. I'm only going to speak for about 45 minutes. Here we go. When I was in high school, I was a bit of a fuck-up. I used to, at lunch, after fourth period, I'd sneak across the way to Peach Lake and drink beers. I was not what you would call an engaged student. Luckily, senior year, my English teacher told me I was pretty decent at actually writing dialogue and stories, and this is a real story. Maybe I could come by his office every once in a while at lunch, and instead of getting fucked up, we could talk about movies and books and TV. And this was a gift because he made me believe I could write, and he changed my life. His name was Bob Cox, and I named Dr. Cox after him in Scrubs. I got emotional because he passed away recently. Sorry. Anyways, but he's the reason that mentorship is, I'm back. He's the reason that mentorship is such an important theme to me in both my work and my life. I gotta shake it off. Look, they told me to talk about something I cared about, and I'm a white guy in my mid-50s, so it was either mentorship or pickleball. I beat Matt all the time, by the way. I'm much better than him. It's not important, but it's cool to have an audience to tell that to. I was lucky enough to have so many mentors in my writer life. Gary David Goldberg, Rich Eustace, George Shapiro, Howard West, Ted Chervin again. The list goes on and on. Honestly, the best thing about Hollywood, other than obviously award shows, is that all of us got in the door because someone believed in us. Everyone in here did. And unfortunately, with the new landscape of small staffs and quick 8-episode orders, and I see young writers jumping from show to show, I'm really not sure the same opportunities exist for the newest generations. Let's clap for them. Let's clap for the up-and-coming kids, right? And look, if I do nothing else tonight, I really want to implore you, go out and find a young person to believe in. Ted told me the other day that I do not like that I've mentioned Ted twice. Krista, you are my muse. Ted is not my muse. I do want tonight to go well. Krista is my muse. Anyways, Ted recently had one of those coffees scheduled that we all dread. Someone who wanted help or guidance, or to show you a script. If you're in this room, you know the drill, okay? But Ted went in and, with an open heart, and it meant so much to the person. And it, in turn, meant so much to him. So, even with the award, I'm here to ask you something. Give an hour of your time to someone every month. Worst case, you get to talk about yourself. I'm not sure if you can tell I dig talking about myself. It's a passion. Volunteer at the Showrunners Training Program. It's awesome. Do it if you can. It's amazing. But even more than that, ask the PA or the writer's assistant if they want to walk to set with you or grab lunch and talk. Yes, you will need to be honest and occasionally rain on someone's dreams. It's true. But it's a small cost, okay? Because it should be noted, being a mentor is never selfless. I legitimately drink the blood of young writers. That's why I still have bangs, I do. And look, this is the Writers Guild Awards. This is by nature a cynical room, okay? But think about it. You have no idea how great it is to have a young person around that shows up at work and goes like, wow, a TV show. It's the greatest thing in the world. And look, I'm going to close by saying something I once told Phil Lord and Chris Miller when they were just starting out as kids. I told them, I believe in you, but that's not the main reason I'm giving you my time. I am currently amassing a list of talented people who have to give me a last job when I'm unhireable. So look, get out there, believe in someone. I'd like to end by thanking Apple TV Plus and Warner Brothers. I'd also like to thank the WGA. I'd like to thank Scott Frank and tell him that he had a great career and I'm rooting for him in the next stage of his life. Mine's not lifetime, yeah. I get to keep doing this. And finally, I'd like to thank my assistant, Liana Sang Cohen. She is going to be a writer someday soon, and she had to type up this speech, so I thought this would be a cool way to tell her. Good night. Keep writing. Thank you so much.